Hello, fellow movie lovers, and welcome to the Adam Snow Movie Show. I am your host, Adam Snow, and I'd like to thank you for checking out our show today. We have another fun show planned for you as we're going to talk about some news of the week. There's a couple of trailers that dropped, and there's an even bigger trailer that dropped that we're going to kind of make our main topic today, starring a guy named Deadpool and Wolverine. So we'll get to that. So please feel free to jump down into the description of the video. There are timestamps for the different sections of the show if you want to just jump around and jump to the other topics you care about. Feel free to do that. With me again this week is my co-host and brother-in-law, Kyle Sutherland. Kyle, how are we doing today?
Pretty good. For some reason, I thought it was Tuesday, but if it was Tuesday, I'd really have some good news because it's the last episode of Shogun.
You just want to talk about Shogun. You're just looking for any excuse to bring up Shogun, aren't you?
Yep.
Yeah. Tomorrow's the finale. We're a movie show here, Kyle. We can until you get Kyle's Corner up and running on this show. You can't talk about TV.
Maybe I'll do that next week.
There you go. I'm telling you, right at Kyle's Corner, we'll give it to you. All right. So we're going to start things off, guys, with some news of the week. That's right. We got a couple of stories to talk about. And there's even kind of, Kyle saw a movie this weekend, so him and I are going to discuss that for a hot second, I'm sure. So let's just get into it. The first story being that Quentin Tarantino, the director that I know many people out there love and consider him one of the best directors. He's an incredible auteur out there. He is no longer going to be directing his film, The Movie Critic, which we've been hearing about for the last year or so, as his new project. Kyle, what are your thoughts on Quentin Tarantino abandoning this labor of love?
It is what it is. Like, I don't know if you didn't like it, obviously. What?
Are you even a Tarantino fan?
I mean, I watched Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill 1 and 2. Like, he's got some good movies out here. So, obviously, I mean, if this is something like he felt that wasn't going to be a good turnout or a good outcome, like, I don't blame him for maybe that's the reason why he wanted to scrap it. So, he must have had a good reason to why he didn't want to no longer do this movie.
Yeah, who knows? It's there's a lot of stuff, hearsay and whatnot, speculation mainly about it, and I wonder because he's got this kind of self-imposed thing he's trying to match, where it's like my 10th film is my final film, and that's it. Because I guess he considers Kill Bill 1 and 2 one film, so he says he just wants to do 10 films and then call it quits and retire. But I don't know if you're Quentin Tarantino, the dude is still cranking them out. Like I feel like his last few have been good, maybe not great. Like I liked Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I liked The Hateful Eight quite a bit. So I mean, there's stuff to really like, and he's still one of the best directors out there. He's definitely so unique, and it would stink to not have any of his films coming out. So I don't believe he'll actually, even if he makes this 10th film, now that it's no longer The Film Critic, I'm sure he's still going to do more. But it is interesting that he's not doing this anymore because the premise sounded interesting. My theory would be that maybe he just feels like it's either not up to snuff, or maybe it's just a little too artsy fartsy to go out on. Like this is his last film, and maybe it's a little too inside baseball. Maybe it's a little too inside the industry to kind of leave fans being like, oh yeah, this is a great 10th entry, a final entry. Maybe he's going to go with a different route, something a little more wide appeal, I guess, maybe. But we'll have to wait and find out. Or maybe he just lost a fire for this project. I mean, it happens. I mean, I'm sure you've worked on stuff. I've worked on stuff that, like, you get close to getting ready to start it, and you're like, I don't really feel like painting the house this color. Yeah. Even though I've been planning on it for weeks, going with one color, you change your mind. I'm sure stuff like that happens.
Yeah, sure. Like, my wife didn't approve Passion Pink, so I had to give up the idea, so,
Oh. I feel like that's a slightly different analogy, but I mean, it is what it is. It's fine, whatever.
Yeah.
We could.
I mean,
your room could use some color, that's for sure.
No, white's good.
But I don't know. I'm hoping whatever this project is, whatever he ends up doing, is great. I feel like The Movie Critic would have been great. I probably would have enjoyed it, but who knows? Maybe it was he didn't think it was going to be as beloved by fans as, I don't know, going the route of like another Django Unchained or something like that.
Yeah, we'll see. Like, I don't know if he says his 10th movie is gonna be his last one, but really, is it gonna be his last one? Like, um, people are saying, there's other directors out there that say, this is my last film, and then 5 film later, they're still at it. So,
Yep, Steven Soderbergh did that. Yep, he said he was going to retire, and he's made 5 films since that retirement. So I think creative people, and being a creative person, I can clearly not on the level of don't get me wrong. I'm not comparing me to Quentin Tarantino, but when you're creative, it's hard to turn that off. You could say like you're going to stop doing one thing, but when you get that idea, when you get that desire to do something, that itch, you can't turn it off. It's in your DNA. It's in your brain. It's going to happen. And I feel like he'll be retired, even if he does officially retire. And I think he believes he's going to retire. But there's going to be a point where he's going to be like, I got one more. I got this great idea and I got to do it. You know, I just think that's who he is and what he is going to end up happening.
yeah,
Right?
we'll see.
Yep, we shall see. All right. And our next story features another director that everybody should know. He's one of the great directors of all time. Martin Scorsese says his next film is going to be a Frank Sinatra biopic starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence. Now, Kyle, being the big Frank Sinatra fan that I know you are, and I'm sure just off to the side of those Metallica bobbleheads, you got your Frank Sinatra albums and your Frank Sinatra bobbleheads. I'm sure you got a whole Rat Pack set of bobbleheads over there. What are your thoughts on Martin Scorsese directing this type of film? And are you a Martin Scorsese fan?
I see from the movies he's made, he really does love Leonardo DiCaprio. So,
Yeah, great
yeah,
collaborations.
I mean, I loved The Wolf of Wall Street. I really love that movie. Uh, I think that's about the only movie I've seen him direct.
I mean, I, I like his Killers of the Flower Moon was good. The Irishman was good. They're just a little long. I think he's getting to that point where he needs a better editor to help tighten his stuff up. But like you said, yeah, getting DiCaprio. I mean, their collaborations have always been great. Getting Jennifer Lawrence in there. I mean, it's hard to fail when you have great talent around him like that. So
Yeah, we'll see. Like, I don't really know much what this movie's going to be about. I mean, I don't know if I'll actually see it in theaters or not. We'll just have to wait and see.
I guess. I mean, I'm already sold. You tell me it's going to be another Scorsese picture with Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm sold. And Jennifer Lawrence is one of the best actresses on the planet, so that also has got me sold on this. And I'm sure that's just the tip of the iceberg. We're going to get a few more, people. Probably a De Niro might show up. Who knows? You're going to get a lot of, and it depends on what era of Sinatra they're going to focus on. Is it the whole life of Sinatra? Who knows? Or is it going to be a certain aspect of Sinatra's life that we're going to zero in on? I'm not 100% sure on that. But, I mean, I like the idea of him doing this. My only problem is I don't see DiCaprio as a Frank Sinatra. But, I mean, it's hard to argue against a talent like DiCaprio. I mean, actors can vanish and pull it off, and maybe he's got it. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, he was great in the Titanic, so yeah, give him a shot.
Is that the only Leo movie you've seen? Is Titanic and Wolf of Wall Street?
Yep, I actually got that in VHS behind me somewhere.
Prove it. We'll wait. We'll wait.
I'm just kidding.
Sure. All right. And then not really a news story, but I kind of wanted to put this here, where we're gonna do a quick little review or discussion for the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. I got my review up. It's already up on the channel. Kyle, we didn't get to go see this together. You went and saw this on your own this weekend. How'd you feel about it, and what grade did you give it?
I felt it was a good movie. Right off the bat, Henry Cavill, Alan Richardson,
Richardson.
sorry.
Yeah.
Their exchange at the beginning on the boat. That I had a freaking laugh about that. And they're off like the whole movie's killing Nazis. Who doesn't love that?
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of explosions. At the end, the battle. A lot of gunfire. So yeah, it was right up my alley there.
What would you give it as a grade?
As a grade, there's a few low spots in the movie, so like say like a high B minus, low B. So
Come on, you know the rules. You got to pick one.
jeez,
Got to
I'll
pick
give it a
one.
B.
Okay, I think I gave it a B minus on my review. Same what you said. There are a few lulls in it. I definitely thought the ending wasn't as strong as the beginning of the film. Like it opened great. That first hour or so was awesome. Then it kind of meandered for a bit. But I mean, we could talk a little spoilery now because I put my review up. That's non spoilers. Go check that out if you guys want a non spoiler review. But so in the film, my big problem and takeaway was that they kind of focused on what's the actress's name from the film? Isla Gonzalez, I think is her name. She her character is a great character, but I just felt like that whole story, whenever we cut back to her, that was the less interesting of what was
Yeah,
going on. Uh, and I just everything with Henry Cavill chewing up scenery, Alan Richardson chewing up scenery, that whole crew just chewing it up whenever they're on screen was absolute gold. But it did feel kind of like a paint by numbers, kind of saw where it was going, film. Like we knew, of course, they're gonna get away with with the submarine, or not the submarine, but they're gonna get away with that at the end of the film. Uh, dupe the Nazis. The Nazis are gonna kind of figure out what's going on because that one guy was kind of on to the girl, figured out her secret being a Jew, and that was kind of weird though. But what'd you think?
yeah. Overall, it's pretty good. Like I love the chemistry with Henry Cavill and the whole gang.
Oh
He
yeah,
got there. But yeah, like you're saying, when they cut to the girl and um the older gentleman there, it kind of fell off. Like I understood why they were cutting in and out of different sceneries, scenarios in the movie, just to build everything up at the end. But yeah, when those two popped up on the screen, it was kind of, I guess it was like more serious, um, the way they acted versus when Henry Cavill and the other guys were on screen when they were shooting down the Nazis. Henry Cavill was just, I felt like he was just having a good time, shooting the
oh
movie,
yeah,
joking around. Um, but yeah, at the end, like you could tell, like this is like part of history, so you kind of knew what was going to happen if you went to the history books and found out
yeah.
what took place.
Which I'm sure you did. I'm
So
sure you went down to the public library and checked out some World War II books before you saw this.
yeah, but so you knew they were going to win, so um, you weren't expecting anyone to die or anything. So they just, I guess, went over the top at the end, like just shooting down everyone. I think one of the crew member got shot, but they weren't going to come out um, not failing the mission. So
Yeah, yeah. It is weird. Like now that you mention it, yeah, it did feel like two different movies. Like you'd be with Henry Cavill and the boys, and it felt like it had one tone. You jump over to the island, had a different tone. It's just, yeah, that usually bugs me a little bit. I thought for sure, Richie would just make it a little more streamlined. It seemed like there was some stuff that could have been trimmed down because it was like we get it, especially in that third, right going into the third act, the whole Nazi kind of figuring out the secrets of the girl and all that, and I don't know. I was hoping for a little more, but I mean, it is kind of what you expect. The action was still great, and Henry Cavill crushes it. So it's still
yeah,
entertaining, and I would recommend it to people. That's for sure. I mean, especially if you like a good Nazi killing movie, this will be up your alley.
yeah, and especially Alan Ritchson. He's gonna play a great Batman. So
Oh man,
give
we'll
it up to
see.
him.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I think Alan Richardson is pretty awesome. I'm enjoying him and everything I've seen him in. If he ends up being the new Batman for James Gunn, I would not have a problem with it. We'll see though.
Yeah, it makes me want to go and see what was it Operation Fortune.
Oh, you haven't
I haven't
seen that
seen that
yet?
movie, but I wanna see that now.
Oh, I got it on disc. It's great. Cause yeah, like last year he had that movie come out. We're talking about Guy Ritchie here. Guy Ritchie had that movie come out. He directed, and then he had The Covenant come out with Jake
Okay.
Gyllenhaal, which we saw, didn't we? We saw that together.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, he's churning out movies left and right. This guy, and then before that, he had that movie with Jason Statham. Oh, what was that one called?
Wrath of Man. That's a good one. I've seen that like a couple times already.
Yeah, you loved that when he had Wrath of Man come out. So he's been on a tear the last couple years. He's just churning them out. I don't know how he does it, but hopefully the next one's the next Operation Fortune, because I loved of those films. Operation Fortune is my favorite. That was a blast. So, but I mean, I do like me some Guy Ritchie. So he's become in the last couple years one of my favorite directors. He's like a top 10 director to me. Not all his stuff has been like amazing, but I appreciate him as a director.
Yeah, wasn't he like a small, uh, not like a big player in the scene, but kind of a smaller guy? Then he's just started popping off lately.
Um, I get, he did a bunch of like great cult hits, like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. He did Snatch. If you've never seen Snatch, Snatch is great. Um, then of course, he did like a bunch of stuff like that, and then he got Aladdin. I think Aladdin's the biggest movie technically he's done, which is weird.
Okay.
That's a Guy Ritchie movie, but it worked. I liked that movie. Uh, but his best movie, in my opinion, my favorite is probably The Gentleman. I don't know if you've seen that one. That's awesome. That and Snatch are, I think, his two best movies, in my opinion. I guess he did that King Arthur movie I never saw either. So he's got quite the filmography. He's got a very diverse filmography.
Oh yeah,
But
I
he's
seen
one
that.
of those auteur directors that I love watching. I mean, he's just he churns them out. I think that's why studios love him. That's why he gets 2 films a year, because he just churns them out. And for not a big budget, and they usually end up making some decent money.
Yeah,
So,
I've seen about 6 of his movies. Huh.
right on. Yeah. What movies are those?
The one that just came out, Wrath of Man, Aladdin, Snatch, King Arthur. I did watch that, and Snatch.
Okay, you said Snatch twice.
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't seen The Gentleman, I would recommend that. I would recommend The Gentleman, the movie, not the show. But he's a producer on that show that also just came out. Again, him being busy, he's got that show he produced that just came out on Netflix based on that movie, The Gentleman. So,
Okay.
move aside. The
So,
Rock, he's the busiest man in Hollywood.
looks like I got a busy weekend ahead of me then.
Yeah, let me know if you end up watching those. All right, guys. Now it's time to look at what is coming to the big screen soon with some new trailers that dropped this week. We're going to start with a trailer for an animated film here, one that caught me by surprise. I guess they played this at CinemaCon with an extended scene. We haven't seen the extended scene, but this trailer did drop there. And that's Transformers 1. This is going to be released by Paramount, set to release on September 20th of this year, 2024, starring the voices of Chris Hemsworth, Brian Tyree Henry, Scarlett Johansson, Keegan-Michael Key, Steve Buscemi, Lawrence Fishburne, and John Hamm. What a cast this thing is assembled. I wasn't sure what to expect when I saw this on the release schedule. What would Transformers 1 be? I was kind of expecting, especially once I heard Chris Hemsworth was the lead voice, he's going to play Optimus, or young Optimus. I figured, I was like, okay, so we're going to do like an animated kind of origin story for the Transformers. I figured it was going to be along the lines of like Spider-Verse or something like that, or the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie that just came out, Mayhem. And not what I was expecting when this trailer popped up. A little more kiddie than I won't say kiddie, but it's a little more silly, a little bit more of a comedy than I kind of expected. It does look like it's a straight up kids animated film, which isn't a bad thing. I was surprised by this, but I'll have to say, by the end of the trailer, I was kind of sold by it. I'm kind of interested to see what they'll do with it. What do you think?
Yeah, like when I first heard this, I didn't really know what it meant, but yeah, when seeing the trailer, like this is a set way back in the day before they could even transform when Megatron and Optimus Prime were friends. Um, and then they figure out how to transform. Like it's like, oh wow. But yeah, overall, like I know it's geared towards more kids. It's an animated movie, but it's definitely one I want to see. Like I've grown up watching Transformers, the TV series. I know they have a bunch of different ones out now. Um, watching Transformers, live action Transformers. That was pretty cool. But yeah, this is something I will definitely check out.
Right on. Yeah, I'm a fan of Transformers. I'm not gonna say I'm like as big a Transformers fan as I am of like Batman, but I like the Transformers. This premise is interesting because we've seen them turn stuff that's more geared towards kids, like Sonic the Hedgehog, like Mutant Mayhem with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, kind of geared towards a younger audience. But they do something with it that's interesting enough that people like us that are a little older can be like, all right, yeah, it's a little more kid friendly, but it's still faithful to what we know about Transformers. It's interesting and it's just a really well done story. And I think jumping into the origin of Optimus and Megatron's friendship, which obviously sours at some point. Spoiler alert, everybody! If you've never seen a Transformers anything, they're rivals. So I think this could be interesting. And then to get some of this voice cast, like Keegan Michael Key, I think is going to steal this movie.
Yeah.
As I think he's going to be Bumblebee, and so it's going to have the jokes. Chris Hemsworth also has impeccable comedic timing. Brian Tyree Henry, excuse me, he's got impeccable comedic timing as well. Scarlett Johansson's got comedic timing as well. So it seems like they got a really good cast here. So this movie, it'll probably be serious a little bit, but it's going to be fun and jokey, and probably have an interesting story along with it. And I'm all for that.
Yeah, I think the next trailer that comes out, if it's another good trailer, it's going to draw a lot of people into the movie theaters. But if once you start bringing your kids into this, and they start, if they enjoy it and they start telling their friends at school or whatever, I think this could be a really big success for the Transformers series.
Yeah, you're probably right. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, the Transformers live action films were $1 billion films at one point, or at least they were big money makers. And they've kind of steadily declined as the movies have kind of gone on because a lot of those movies haven't been good since the first Transformers and Bumblebee. Those are like your two good Transformers movies. So I think something like this might open the door for like, hey, let's just do more animated Transformers. I don't know
Yeah.
if this ain't gonna do Super Mario Brothers numbers, but if this could do rake in $300 or $400 million, I feel that's gonna be a big win. And maybe that'll be the start of a fun franchise that we can all be like, hey, you know what? I like this version of the Transformers. And then we'll get our live action Transformers versus G.I. Joe or whatever the heck they're going to be doing with the live action films.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one.
Oh, I'm sure you can't. All right. And then there was another trailer this week. This one is called Trap. This is set to be released by Warner Brothers on August 9th, 2024. Directed by M. Night Shyamalan. Starring Josh Hartnett, Ariel Donahue, Salika Shyamalan, Haley Mills, and Allison Pill. So I heard that, I kept thinking when I first saw a few weeks ago, we covered the trailer for The Watchers, which is actually M. Night's daughter's directorial debut. I think this is his other daughter that's going to be in this film. But so M. Night doing this film, and the premise is so interesting here, Kyle. I don't know how you feel about it, but the premise of a guy and his daughter going to a concert, and the concert secretly being a trap for some sort of serial killer is such an interesting and unique premise. And the trailer heavily alludes that our main guy here, played by Josh Hartnett, um, is our serial killer that they're after. But it's M. Night. There's got to be a twist, right? It's got to be a twist.
Yeah, watching the trailer, just the start of it, to go to a concert, I'm like, oh, okay, this might be a kid's movie. Um, play off of like Taylor Swift or all that, so you get all those young girls going to see it. But yeah, then the guy goes to get some snacks and he's asking the guy, he's like, hey, what's with all the police presence? And the guy tells him, and then it takes a big twist in that trailer. And it's like, holy crap. But yeah, who knows? Like maybe there is a big twist at the end. Maybe it's not the kid's dad who is, but he finds a guy and somehow I don't know. Like I'll probably see this in theaters because
Oh yeah,
it's kind of it's a different kind of movie style. So and yeah, it keeps you wondering after the trailer ends. You're like, well, what the heck's gonna happen? So yeah,
yeah. I wonder. I wonder. Here's my theory. Let's theorize real quick. I bet you, the dad knows that the daughter's the serial killer, and he knows the daughter's got some dude in the basement, and that's what he's freaking out about. Because the trailer makes it look like he's the serial killer, but I'm wondering if it's his daughter's the secret serial killer or something like that. It's gonna be something weird like that, right? It's got to be a weird twist. It can't be that straightforward, right? M Night, you're not gonna do that to us. You're gonna give us a twist. So
yeah. Who knows? Just it might be just a guy, just like the Abigail trailer when that just gave everything away. So who
yeah,
knows?
well, that's what we hear. I haven't seen the movie Abigail yet. You haven't seen it yet. I want to go see it. I just don't know if I'll have time to go check that one out. Um, but I mean, look, M Night's been doing a lot of good stuff lately. I haven't loved everything. Like Knock at the Cabin, I thought was good, not great. Old, I thought was all right. It was interesting, but I feel like it did kind of peter out at the end. And he's had a few other films, lately, like Split. I love. Glass was pretty good, okay. And then he did something called The Visit, which I haven't watched The Visit, but that's the one everybody's kind of saying it was kind of the start of his renaissance here in the last 5 years or so. So here's hoping that we got a good one on him.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched Knock at the Cabin. I saw that with you, right?
Yeah, I think we saw that in theaters.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed that movie. So, hmm.
Hey, to each their own. I'm not trying to yuck on your yum if you enjoyed it. Like I read the book and I saw the movie, and I'm not saying the movie was bad. It's just
Uh,
it was all right. I didn't hate it.
yeah, I didn't
So
read the book, so, but yeah, I thought Dave Bautista in that movie was pretty good. And
yeah,
I've seen Old. That was a pretty good movie as well. So we'll have to see when this
yeah,
comes out.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And we'll probably be there when it does. But all right, guys. After that, it's time now to talk about our big topic of discussion this week. Another trailer, and that's the new Deadpool and Wolverine trailer that dropped earlier today. The film is set to be released on March 26th. Obviously, it stars Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, Hugh Jackman coming back as Wolverine. Kyle, I will give you the floor first to start. What did you think of this Deadpool and Wolverine trailer? I guess is it trailer 2 technically? I mean, they had the one Super Bowl spot, and then they had this one.
Yeah. So yeah, this is technically the second trailer, but it's kind of interesting. Ryan Reynolds yesterday on his YouTube channel released a little short announcing that this Deadpool versus Wolverine trailer is coming out today. And the way he made that trailer yesterday announcing this was pretty cool. But yeah, this trailer that came out today, Wolverine versus Wolverine and Deadpool, it was interesting. Like I was like, um, just the first scene where Wolverine's at the bar, Deadpool comes in and says, "Hey, you need to come with me. Um, I need your help." And Wolverine, Hugh Jackman's like, "No, beat off. I don't want to deal with you."
Yeah, no thanks, lady.
Yeah, I guess Wolverine doesn't really know who Deadpool is, so yeah, he called him a lady. And then Deadpool points a gun at him, says smile on the barrel, and Wolverine starts extending his claws. Um, and then Ryan Reynolds fashion, he makes a joke about it. So yeah, I think overall this movie, the chemistry between these two guys, they're friends in real life. I think this movie's gonna be a freaking massive success, and I can't wait for it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. Look, it's got all the pieces there, right? It's got the chemistry of Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. It's got the Deadpool branding, which everybody loves. It's got Hugh Jackman returning as Wolverine, which everybody loves. It's going to be a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. and tie in at some point somehow with the TVA, jumping timelines and all that. It's got returning characters from uh, the Deadpool universe that we've seen in the trailer, and uh, but unfortunately for me, this trailer was a bit of a misfire. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good stuff in it. It's got the jokes, it's got the chemistry, but and you get a bit of the story, you get a bit of the background on this version of Jackson's Wolverine. But I'm sitting there just thinking, okay, yeah, you're allowed to say the F bomb. Like they had quite a few F bombs in this trailer, which is fine. I have no problem with that. But my problem was the trailer didn't really do anything extra for me to get excited. There wasn't really a big set piece moment. We saw Wolverine and him duking it out. There were a couple of good jokes sprinkled in there, but on the whole, I'm looking at this trailer like, look, I'm already excited for this film. I already know it's going to probably be $1 billion film, despite it being rated R. I already know I'm going to love their chemistry. What is there for me to get excited about in this trailer that I'm not already excited for? And I think that's why I feel so blah on this trailer. That it's stuff I've already seen. Like I've already seen Jackman in the costume. Okay, so I get a little extra footage of it. So, all right, so that's not that special. Seeing him fighting Deadpool was okay. I don't know what we were expecting there. It wasn't like the greatest action set pieces yet, which is fine. I don't want them to like just give me the best stuff in the trailer. I don't. I just kind of wanted, I don't know, I just get me a little more excited for it. It just couldn't do that for me. But I will give it this. The cocaine joke at the end of the trailer was pretty good. I like that bit. I thought that bit was pretty great.
Yeah, and the one thing that stood out to me, I guess if you want to dissect the trailer, what I saw, from hearing or whatever from everyone is there's gonna be a lot of cameos, but when you watch the trailer, you don't see any cameos. So I
Which is
think
fine.
well, yeah, I was gonna say the way they shot the trailer, I think they did a good job not giving away any secrets or any hints at cameos that might be in the movie. So, um, yeah, good on them.
But they did do a couple of things. I don't know if you caught it, but there's a couple of big Easter eggs that I caught at least on my couple of viewings of the trailer. One was the giant Ant-Man helmet that somebody's turned into some sort of base.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw that. If you stop the trailer, yeah, it's just a giant Ant-Man helmet. So they made a base out of that. And then at one point, Deadpool and Wolverine are trying to jump into a portal, and it's a ring that looks like it's made by some sorcerer. So is it Doctor Strange? Is it Baron Mordo? Is it Wong? Who knows? It could be any sort of magic user, but that was a little thing I caught in the trailer. Obviously, we don't see who does it. We just know somebody with magic makes that portal in the trailer. The bad guy in the film, the bald lady, I hear, like, I'm not sure who that character is, exactly what the name of the character is, but supposedly that's Charles Xavier's sister. So I'm sure we'll go to some timeline where that's his sister and she's got a vendetta, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. But I do think it's interesting that this version of Wolverine's a Wolverine that they're plucking from a timeline that failed to save his universe or something. And, other than that little bit of information, the rest of the trailer was kind of meh.
Yeah, we'll see. I imagine they're gonna come out with maybe one or two more trailers for this.
Oh,
So
yeah.
maybe
And,
they.
on top of that, that Ryan Reynolds is going to release tiny little things, marketing this film, like whether it's them just in costume joking around, we're going to see a bunch of stuff. I really do hope they keep a lot of the secrets secret, because that'll make the film that much more enjoyable as we see it. Because don't get me wrong, I don't want these trailers to spoil anything. I don't know. I want them to give me a little more of a taste of like some of the heart and the meat of the story to kind of get me like, oh, now I'm really excited because this is an element I didn't know was at play here, So, but we'll see. Or like give me a tease of another big action set piece, because I just feel like we got snippets of them, but not enough to sit there and be like, oh, this is an action set piece that we're going to be talking about, because it seems like every trailer has that moment where it's like, oh yeah, this is the big action set piece, and this one didn't really linger on any of that, which is fine. But we'll see what they do.
Yeah. The next one will feature Taylor Swift in it, and everyone's gonna go nuts.
You laugh, but you're probably not far off. I bet you they do something to introduce her as Dazzler or some sort of mutant and bring her into this, because that's how you get them. You get the Swifties in the theater, or if Ryan Reynolds just in a Deadpool costume says, "Hey, Taylor Swift is in this movie. I would never lie to you," and then that's it. That's it. You know the Swifties would come flocking.
Yeah, I mean, if that happens, then she's got to have more than a couple minute cameo. She's got to be in the movie for, I don't know, however much time
Oh no, no,
that's
no!
needed
She'll
for
be in
that.
it for 3 minutes. They'll be at a Dazzler concert. She'll get to say some raunchy jokes to Ryan Reynolds, and then probably chop his arm off or something, and that'll be her scene. I mean,
Let's
it's
see. I think if they do announce her in the movie and the trailers, I think she's gonna have a little more, not bigger role, but a more feasible role, I guess.
when has she had time to film a big role? It's going to be a 3-minute cameo at best, Kyle.
No. Hey,
That's all that's going to happen.
She's going to those Chiefs games. She can make time.
All right. Anything else about this trailer? I know you're excited for this movie. I'm excited for it. I wasn't as sold on this trailer. I think they could do better.
Nope. I think I got that weekend off. So if that first screening's good, I'm probably gonna see it all the whole weekend.
Yeah, I we'll see there. We'll be there opening day for it. So I'm looking forward to that. But all right. I mean, that was our big topic of this week. I mean, very short show. I think our shortest show yet, Kyle. But anything else before we wrap this puppy up?
Nope. Just tomorrow is Tuesday. The last episode of Shogun's gonna be out tomorrow, and I can't wait.
Dang it, Kyle! That boy loves his Shogun. I tell you what, I am looking forward to it. And get your segment ready for next week. Whatever Kyle's corner is going to be. What's it? I just want to. Don't even tell me what it's going to be about. Just tell me you got a segment you're going to do, and we'll let you try it.
All right. It'll be a surprise.
Please let it be. I'm dying to find out what it'll be. All right, guys. Thank you so much for checking us out. I'd like to thank my co-host Kyle again for joining us. Kyle, thanks again for hanging out today. Is there anything you want to plug besides Shogun? Besides the fact that Shogun's airing tomorrow?
Nope. I'm good.
All right. You can catch Kyle over on the World of Football YouTube channel as the co-host of Just Lying Around, a Detroit Lions podcast. You can see he's got the Lions stuff behind him. I got the Lions stuff behind me. We do that podcast every once in a while. We got the NFL draft coming up. I'm sure we'll talk about. Lions just got new jerseys. I'm sure we'll talk about. So be on the lookout for that. I'm sure sometime this week, Kyle.
Yeah, just let me know when you're available.
You know me. All I do is sit here and record podcasts. So that'll do it for this installment of the Adam Snow Movie Show, guys. And until the next one, we'll be seeing you.